Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here, and I have something very important to talk about today, which is going to be about confidence. Because we all know that we've been told or we tell ourselves to be confident, right? But is confident where we start from, or is it an end result? I love talking about these words because these words are told to us as if they are the starting point. But in fact, if we look at it carefully, they are the end result. If I want to be confident, if your child needs to be confident, if you need to be confident, if you're a teacher and you need to be confident, if you're a CEO and you need to be confident, then there are prerequisite to that. We don't just become confident, right? Confidence is not something that just shows up. It is not something that is starting point. So we have a problem the way that we approach some things that we want in our life, right? So that's what I want to talk about today. But before we do that, I do want to share with you and bring you here and now because it's important to be here and now, right? Otherwise, where are we? We're not here. So let's bring ourselves here and now. So I want to use the past conversation with you today to talk about confidence. So when we want to be confident in the now and here, what do? We have our brain, which takes us to the past and tell us all the reasons why we can be confident here in the now. Now, have you ever had incidences where your brain takes you, you're not thinking, it's just brain pulls you into this mess, and I like to say that some of these things that our brain pulls us into is good things in the past, right? Sometimes it is, but many times, like 99.9 times, it is going to be the worst thing that happened to us because our brain likes to beat us over things that we didn't do it right. So if we're talking about confidence and we are taken to the past, what is our brain going to bring up? What are some of the facts and stories and all the things that it wants to talk about? The things where I wasn't confident. Maybe as a child, I grew up not being confident. I was child for myself. I was a child that was shy, who muted herself in the classrooms and nobody noticed that she doesn't even speak to anyone. She just went unnoticed and invisible. So for me, confidence was a big deal. I was never confident. I walked differently. My postures were always different. I would never talk like this. Right now I'm talking to you. So all of this would come up. And so what else would come up? Oh, well, when my dad asked me to answer some of the questions, such as, 9 times 9, when I blank out, which I know most of the time is 81, but when he asks for some reason, I just blank out and I get in trouble. So was my confidence going up at that time? No. Would my brain bring me back to that incident where I felt like stupid in front of him, even though I knew the answer was 81, but I couldn't say it because the way he asked, my brain just becomes a mush. So 9 times 9, I never knew whenever he asked. It was something that he always asked that number. I don't know why. I still remember it. So I would go there and I would talk about with my brain would talk to me about how stupid I was. Okay, so that's a past event that's going to bring me like good feelings. Do you think? No, it's going to bring me so much heavy feeling and negative feeling that now and here is going to be ruined for me. So would I be confident in the now and here if I start entertaining what my brain wants me to do in the past? Not really, right? It's not going to work out. It doesn't work like that. If I'm entertaining my brain's all the failures and where I wasn't confident, then I cannot be confident right here and right now. So that's what happens to most of us. We go into the past stories and we are told how confident you are not by our own brain. Don't you think our brain needs to be told that I am the boss? Because I'm so sick of it telling me how much I'm not confident, right? When it comes to this, then it just goes on the list in my life. Then as an adult, I wasn't confident. As a teacher, I went into classrooms where people made me feel bad. People didn't think I had the skill set, even though I am the best math teacher ever that they would have ever had in their school systems, right? All of these things would come up for me. So what can I do with these stories? Am I going to sit there hour after hour after hour listening to my brain bring up all the instances where I wasn't confident, and I'm going to sit there listening to it? Will you listen to it? No, we don't want to listen to it. I don't want you to listen to it either. These are stories that has already happened. I'm not going to get anything out of it other than the lessons that, okay, in those situations I wasn't confident. And the reason I wasn't confident is because my internal systems were blocked. I was blocked. I was stuck. It doesn't matter how I try to be confident. I can only say the word. Maybe sometimes I can't even say the word with confidence. So What should I do with the past? What should you do with the past? Should you sit there entertaining this for hours and hours and wasting your time so you're not now and here to live or learn or lead? No, we have to let it go. Let go of the garbage because it is garbage, right? It's telling us garbage. It wants to deal with the garbage, which I've already dealt with it many years. You probably have as well. So it is time for once and all, get hold of your brain and say, we're letting it go. We're not going to talk about this. I got the lessons from it. I'm moving to now and here. So now and here, when you do that with your brain, even you are going to gain confidence. That's another way to get confidence, is to own your brain, right? Now let's talk about the future. How would my brain take me to the future and talk about confidence? Let's talk about it. Let's say I am planning something. Let's say in the now and here, I'm a CEO, I'm a father, I'm a mother, I got a job that I go to and I have coworkers. I'm a student who's trying to do good in school, or I'm a student who's struggling. How would my future talk look like with my brain? Of course, our brain takes us to the future. And most of the time, when it takes us to the future, it likes to talk about how I'm going to fail, how it's not going to go the way. It likes to project the past and then let us think about the future. Do you think that's productive? I know it's not for me, because it's wasting time. Again, telling me how I am going to be not confident again in the future. So not only that I wasn't in the past, now I'm not even going to be in the future. So is that productive, or is that counterproductive to what I want to do now and here? It's counterproductive. So what are some of the conversation I can have in the future with the topic that we have today, confidence, right? So it could tell me that, you remember you couldn't answer the 9 times 9. What makes you think that you can speak on the stage? Yeah, I know, right? If I was to listen to it, I can have a pretty pity party with it, right now, about my future. Of course I can. I was an idiot. So how can I be some leader going forward? You think I'm joking, but no, this is how our brain hijacks our own intentions, right? Our brain is powerful. It can make any crazy story as it wants. I told you, I realized the power of this brain that we all have on the day that it told me to end my life, and the next day it betrayed me and was telling me a whole bunch of other stuff that I never heard from it. So how can a brain turn from one thing to one day, and another different whole being in another day? Well, that's what I experienced. That's where all of this comes from. My experience of my death, which was almost helped with my brain. My brain helped me to think of all of the nasty stuff that I shouldn't be living, right? And then it told me, why did you do it? How can you do it? What kind of person are you to do even such a thing? And look at all the people you just messed and hurt and all of this. I'm like, who is this person talking to me, right? So that's why we need to own this brain. Brain is yours to own. Otherwise, it'll just make crap up all the time. So in the future, it can tell me things like, you know what? Oh, you remember you muted yourself? You don't even have a voice. Why would you think you want to talk online? And why would you think you want to have a live show like this? Why would you think anybody would listen to your voice like this? It could tell me that, but I own it now, right? So even if it tells me, I know how to take control of it. But that's kind of what it can tell me about the future thing I want to do, right? So what can we do about this future? We need to shut it down for sure. This kind of conversation does nothing to our future. We need to set intentions. I do want to speak on stage. I do want to be a leader. I do want to take care of stuff. I do want to change things that are not working in our society. I am a leader. So if that's my thing, I have to tell my brain, you know what? Thank you for all of that information. I am setting intentions for myself. Let's follow. Be obedient with me. You don't own me. I own it. So I can bless it. I can set all those intentions and I can bless it and I can release it. And I'm no longer listening to my brain when I do that. I'm shutting it down. So this is conscious work. And consciously, we're telling the brain, we're letting go of the past. We're telling the brain, we're going to release the future. You don't have control over it. So don't predict it for me. Stop predicting for me with my past crap, which doesn't serve me. So stop it. So in that case, what it does is consciously you're bringing yourself here and now. In this moment, you can create anything you want. In this moment, you can learn anything you want. It doesn't matter who you are. This is how human development and humans work. In here, I can live my life the way I want to live instead of listening to my brain telling me how bad I am in something, right? Here, I can lead. I can lead myself. We are all leaders, so we can lead our lives and the people that we love. Right? These are things that can happen here and now. In order to be here and now, we need to anchor ourselves by bringing our hands together. This is a almost a ritual. I do this all the time. When my brain starts getting louder than my heart and my body, my brain wants to talk louder and louder, I just have to shut it down. You don't need to learn it. So this is alone, this talking to your brain, which is one of my methodology that I've created, my framework, is alone makes you confidence. Look at how confidence I'm talking right now with my brain. Owning your brain builds confidence. That's internal work, right? It's not confidence doesn't come first and then I talk like this. I have to learn how to talk to it to make my confidence be a byproduct of it. That's why we all struggle when people tell us as confidence is where we start. Confidence is the result of so many different things, which we're going to talk about. So now, in order to me to fully anchor you now and bring you here, we'll do a breathing. Breathing is something that helps us. I know we all breathe, and I know you're breathing, but you or me don't breathe in intentionally. We just breathe to live and survive. So when we get into the survival mode, it becomes even harder. So right now, I want you to take inhale of 4, hold for 4, and then I want you to exhale for 8, all the worries and stress and fear and lack of confidence, everything. Really let it go, because we don't need to store. Our body is not for storing garbage. These things needs to be out of our body. That's why our body was made to inhale and exhale all the garbage. Inhale and exhale all the garbage. Instead, as humans, we learn to store them. Where do we store them? In our necks, in our shoulders, in our back, in our lower back, in our thighs. And then we feel like, oh, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Yes, it hurts because we tend to store all the stuff. It doesn't belong in our body, but our body is a temple. Why don't we take care of it? Why don't we take care of this machine that helps us live every single day? We need to look at this as a machine, just like we would take care of your car before you drive it, just like everyone takes care of the plane before they take off. Why don't we take care of this body the same way? Because we were not given the education for it, right? So let's take inhale for 4, hold for 4. This time send all of the places you want to send this air that you haven't sent it all week, forgetting parts of your body, send it and love it, and then pick up all the waste that you don't want to have in your body and then release it for 8. Really letting it go. Do not hold anything. Your body is not for storage. Let's do that one more time. Inhale for 4, hold, send it everywhere, everywhere. Now collect everything that you don't want, anything in your body that feels hard, heavy, scary, like blocked. Grab everything and then like really let it go with the sound, like really let it go. It's not yours to keep. It's to be released. So when you do that, you should feel grounded. With that conversation, talk to your brain using what I just showed you. Plus, this breathing intentionally will help you ground yourself and bring yourself now and here. Now that we're now and here, we can talk about confidence. How many times have you tried to be confident in your life? How many times were you told to be confident in your life? Be truth to yourself, right? Like when you're thinking about confidence, were you told at school to be confident? How was it for you with the word confidence? What came up for you when you were a child, when you were growing up? How was confidence presented to you? How was it presented to you? Confidence. I'm just waiting so that I can have some answers in the chat, and I'm checking for the chat to see if anyone's here answering me because I need some answers. Okay, so what's coming up for you? Probably it's coming up for you where you weren't confident, where you struggled to gain confidence, right? Now, what are we told in the regular world? What are we told in the regular world about confidence? In order to build confidence, what creates it? What creates it? We are told that we have to stay focused, okay? How do we stay focused? We have to set goals. If you want to be confident, you have to set goals. So how do we set that? Okay, we know how to set those, right? We set them up. So many of us failed, but we know how to set them up. And then we're, told that, confidence should come because if you start taking those actions, you need to feel confident. So let's go. And then if you spend a lot of time and push through things, you should feel confident as well. Isn't that what we're told? Isn't that how confidence is presented to us, as if it's something like we should already have feeling for it, right? So what is confidence? Confidence is not something you build. It's something that shows up when nothing inside is in the way. So inside meaning inside this body. So my program, everything I've developed over the last 25 years, including when I was 12, starting with my brain and how I own it, the conversation that I just shared with you, all of it, what it has done is given me that this is needs to be taken care of. We need to be home here. Inside of our body is the home that I'm talking about, not your physical home. So if nothing is in the way inside of this body, then confidence is something that comes out of it as a result. Is the result of it. It's not the beginning of it, right? So because we're told in a way that it is the starting point, we get stuck, right? Most people think what they lack confidence. But what they're actually experiencing is a system that doesn't feel safe enough to express it. So, for example, my situation I talked about earlier, that how I wasn't confident, I muted myself because, of course, I wasn't confident with the language. What is the best thing my body can and my brain can come up with to protect me? How would they protect me? If you don't know a language, what's the best way to protect yourself? Stay silent, mute yourself, right? The extreme would be to mute yourself. Some people stay silent. I decided to go the extreme and mute myself. So is that's my body, my brain protecting me. So when we don't feel safe somewhere, our body is going to react in a different way. It doesn't mean I was lacking confidence. It doesn't mean I was born lacking confidence. I am a confident person right now. So how did I build to be that confident person? Not that I can speak so much better. Like I could have spoken then too. I just didn't know the language. Why didn't I think that I didn't know the language? That's why I'm not able to speak. Why don't I just spend the time to learn it? Instead, I tried to hide it because my body took over as a protection. So whenever we are hijacked by our body's response as a protection, everything else shuts down. So that's why confidence is not something you build. You need to figure out if anything is in the way. Can you figure out what's in the way? That's the most important thing. That is going to be an inside work. That's why confidence has to come from inside out. We don't just do things to become confident. We actually have to clear everything in this system and be home here to have confidence, right? So confidence is a clean expression without internal resistance. So if you don't have any resistance, confidence is going to show up in every aspect of your life. Have you seen some people admire them saying, look at their confidence. Look at it. Look how much confident they are. Look how much they're, showing up, and look how much they're able to express themselves openly and communicate clearly and all of these things. That's because they have no internal resistance. So when confidence is what it looks like to us when our system is not protecting us, right? Confident is what looks like when your system is not protecting you. So if you feel like you're lacking confidence, or your child is lacking confidence, or your student is lacking confidence, or as a CEO you're lacking confidence, guess what? We have to turn inward. So when I wasn't confident, in many of my areas, I used to look externally. What a waste of time. How can somebody else going to give me confidence when my internal systems are blocked? It makes no sense, right? I did that in business. I did that in my personal life. How many of us are in relationships where we think the other person's going to give me confidence? That's why codependency starts, right? It doesn't make sense. Confidence doesn't start with another person or external world. It starts internally. Is your systems blocked? Are they in resisting? Are they in protection mode? I would research all of that by yourself. Start noticing in what areas of your life do you have confidence issue? What is it stemming from? What systems are blocked because of that? if we go deeper into that, we can find the root cause of it. We are so at the surface and we're so external, thinking about something that is born from internal alignment. If our systems are not aligned, forget confidence. So, have we checked this system? Are we home? How do we come home? Well, we need to first take care of our brain, because you can't come home when your brain is your enemy. If your brain is talking to you nonsense nonstop, guess what? Coming home is not going to be possible. How can you live with a brain that's talking to you nonsense nonstop? You can't be home. So, have you taken control over your brain? If you haven't, why not? Why not? Maybe you're just buying the story your brain trying to tell you. It's time to talk back to it and say the stories are over. So I want you to think of a moment you felt confident and another where you didn't. So where in your life did you feel confident one time and where in your life did you not feel confident? So why is that you're the same person? You still have the same skills. Why didn't you feel confident in both of those situations? What was the difference? Because your body interpret those situations as from a different state. Your body state changed. Internally, your state changed. What caused the change might be something related to the past that you had experienced. So it's not like confidence just disappear. Your system just shifts into protection in areas, and that stems from stories that we have stored. That stems from our brain hijacking and telling us how horrible I would be in this situation. So if our brain has the power to do that, why not take control of the brain? You own it. You own it. You have ultimate control over your brain. So don't allow it to speak it to you in that way. So now what I want you to do is stop blaming yourself for not having confidence. If you're one of those people, if your child is lacking confidence, stop blaming them, stop blaming yourself. It's not it. It is the internal state is being affected. And if that affects it, we're going to act and show up lack of confidence. So through our model, we always look at a few things. I want to talk about how to get yourself always in flow so that when you do arrive at situations where your confidence disappear, just because it doesn't seem like it was a problem and it just disappears, here are things that you can look at. Number one is safety. We are a 100% at any given moment. If safety is not protected, our body will react in order to protect us. That is a universal law for humans to feel. So safety can be adjusted by the tone of somebody, the way they're speaking to you, right? The way they're looking at you, the way the environment is. So many things can alter safety. So number one, we need to become very, very aware of what type of situation, what type of tone, what type of person can alter our safety and our protection mode. When does it turn on? When does it get triggered? Now, trigger is a word now everyone's using, but when does it get triggered? Trigger is when something is acting on us that is making me act upon it, right? So what are those situations for you? Become aware of it, extremely aware of it. For example, since I was growing up with my dad, the way he would ask me questions, there are men I meet in my work now who can really trigger that. So I already aware of that. So in front of them, my confidence can drop. That doesn't mean I'm not confident. Sometimes I am even more qualified than the man I'm talking to. Sometimes I know he doesn't know what he's talking about. So why am I lacking that confidence? Because of the tone and because of the way he has already upset my safety and my protection. Nothing to do with this person in front of me. It was to do with something from my past. Right? So that's what I have to be aware who I'm talking to. And when I notice that this person has the similar thing that can alter my or trigger my confidence, I get into even more position, like body postures and how I sit and how I speak, the words that I choose has to be very, very intentional. That helps me to stay. That helps me to stay. Like right now, I got into the state to talk to somebody that would be close to representing my dad, because I do have it. So that's why we need to know our stories that affects us, right? So now my confidence doesn't drop in front of those men. The conversations are different, my posture is different, I talk differently, I'm confident, I got to stay confident, because the minute I don't, guess what happened to me? This is from experience, right? There are men who have taken advantage in the business world by telling me they can do this and that, and then eventually not delivering anything. So as a woman, it's not man against woman, but as a woman, I need to know exactly where I can lose my confidence, right? It's safety. My nervous system, if it doesn't feel safe, it will start shutting down and it will start protecting me. And I will look lack of confidence. And the minute somebody knows you're lacking confidence, you know what? They have upper hand. It's like fighting boxing. I love boxing. I'm a boxer. I go to that at 6 a.m. You know why? That's where I get my confidence to tell my old stories, to back off, get out of my way. You had enough time in my life to control me. Now it's my turn. So that's kind of what happens if I don't work on my nervous system, and if I don't protect my nervous system to stay calm at all time, my confidence will disappear. So that is one of the things that you can look at as well. Safety. The next one is alignment. If systems are in conflict, you will hesitate, you would overthink, you would pull back, right? So what does alignment mean? So we have systems working for us. This is one body, but inside we have many systems. I map across 12 systems when we're helping and coaching people. By doing that is where we find exact block in what system. So the system are in conflict. Guess what happens? You will hesitate, you will overthink, you will pull back. That's why when I'm making decisions, I don't overthink anymore, because my systems are in alignment. If they're not in alignment, I know how to get them into alignment like that, because it comes from a lot of time talking to my brain. My brain is the biggest culprit in upsetting the systems, believe it or not. I know things might seem very simple right now, but that is what life is. It's simple. We complicated stuff, right? Our body and everything is very much, it's a code that if we follow, it's universal. It's everything is universal. So what happens if my alignment is in conflict? Do you think you're going to be confident? Do you think confidence is born outside? No, it's born inside, from the alignment of all the systems. That's when we don't hesitate anything. If I don't hesitate on any situation, what does that look like to the external world? Oh, wow, she's so confident, right? If I don't overthink and I say, yeah, I think that's the right answer, let's go, let's do it. That's the right solution, let's do it. If I don't overthink and come to things like this, people are going to say, wow, look at her, she's so confident. Of course, because I'm in alignment, my systems are in alignment. If I don't pull back and I stand and ground my stand in any situation, what are they going to say? Wow, she's very confident, or he's very confident. Guess what? Why don't I pull back? Because my systems are in alignment. Have I done the opposite before? Of course. I know this because I've lived lacking confidence for many, many years. But what I had to do is get it into alignment, my systems, right? So another thing that you can look into is your systems in alignment. Next thing, what happens is when we have the safety and alignment, if they come together, if I'm not protecting, if I'm not in my productive protection mode, there we go. If I'm not in my protection mode, and if my systems are in alignment, guess what's that gonna do to expression? Well, guess what that does to your expression? Look at this. I'm not protecting anything. My systems are in alignment. If they both come together like an equation, what do you think it's going to equal to you? Confidence. Exactly. Yes. Confidence shows up naturally. And guess what? Confidence is a byproduct. It was never the starting point. So do you see why we're pushing confidence, but we're not looking at it from this internal system? Makes confidence such a hard thing to come to. So right now, where in your life do you feel what to do, but something is holding you back? So where in your life right now, you know what to do, but something is holding back? So, is that a lack of confidence after all this conversation we had today? No. That's your system protecting you. So, it's time to look at why is that protection there? What's going on? Why your system is protecting you? That's what I would look into. So, we need to shift, right? We need to shift saying, be confident. Why aren't you confident? Come on, let's be confident. We need to stop saying this. We need to start saying or asking a new question, which would be, what would make this moment feel safe enough to move? What would make this moment feel safe enough to move? Can we shift? Can we honor our body and look at what our body is doing in order to help us, instead of saying all these things back to the body and ourselves by saying I lack confidence, or you lack confidence, right? If you're coaching or parenting or teaching someone else. So here's what I want to leave you with. Confidence was never something you had to earn or you have to be with or born with. It's something that you always have within you when your system is ready, when this body in your home and it's ready. So stop trying to be confident. We need to stop trying to be confident. We need to start clearing what's in the way. Then everything flows. Right? So stop trying to be confident, start clearing what's in the way, and then see what happens. And tell me what happens. Send me a DM because I'm interested to know. I can guarantee that you're going to have confidence. So thank you for listening. Thank you for all of you for sending in all of your comments. And I get so many DMs now, which I love to read. So thank you so much for doing that. I want to hear if you can follow this and stop trying to be confident or get to confident and make the clearing happen so that confidence become a byproduct of that. Because these words are byproduct. That's why we've been stuck. We've been told as if they were the starting point. Instead, they are the end result. And we have so many of these words that has kept us stuck. So let's not get stuck. Let's live in flow. I'll see you on another live. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.